All right, guys, here we are. We are back at the Imported Podcast. No, this is not the official podcast setup. I'm still trying to set that up. So you guys probably know I'm in the process of moving house, as they say in Great Britain and Ireland. Moving house. I'm switching apartments to a new apartment. You might have seen some of that on my YouTube channel. So I'm getting everything settled and figured out here. So for now, I'm just going to shoot the podcast on my couch. And I don't have a guest today. I am just doing a solo podcast. Just me rambling. I've got my candles right there. I got my really bad instant coffee. So this is the first episode of the Imported Podcast in 2023. I feel like a lot of things have changed. Tons of things have changed. If you've kept up with my life at all or watched my YouTube video, you know that I have retired from being a football player I've played football for 18 years. I've been a professional American import here in Germany and Europe since 2016. So things are much different. And with that, I am no longer an import player for the Unicorns. So I had to get my own apartment because I was living in import housing. And so I'm, trying to figure things out. So yeah, I've got some more updates that I'll give you as things sort of unfold here. But yeah, just know for now, I'm figuring things out. So this is the Imported Podcast, even though I'm no longer an import, so we might have to change that name. No, it's a good name. We'll keep it. Keep the name. But just some things I guess I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about some football. Let's talk about football in Europe. We know the European League of Football has taken over in Europe. The new league, it's got 18 or 17 teams now, I guess, since Istanbul folded. I don't even understand why. Well, actually, I did hear. When I first saw that they had Istanbul being in the ELF, I was like, what are you guys doing? You're expanding way too fast. But I guess the thinking there was just wanted to encompass as much area and as many countries as possible. But we do know now that Istanbul folded or can't play in the ELF this year. Couldn't swing it, so that didn't work out. That's the big fear about the ELF is how sustainable it is. But for now, right now, it is the spot to be for European football. And it's crazy because I remember talking with guys like Rudy and Cody and Devin. We're all getting old. Rudy's still playing, but I'm retired. Cody's retired. Devin's retired. I remember we would talk like, hey, there's so much potential here for a really cool league in Europe. Because in the GFL we had a good handful of good teams at the top, but it wasn't really organized so well, and there's a lot of flaws, which I'll get into. Sorry, stupid watch always dings. We always said, hey man, someone's gonna come along and make a really cool league, and we're gonna miss it. We're just gonna be right at the tail end of our careers, and we're gonna miss it. And that's basically what happened. Missed the chance to play in this cool new ELF league. But I'm actually fine with that. I feel super content and happy with what I got to experience with football in Europe. But it is just funny. We were talking about that for years, and it played out exactly like we thought. Now we're the old guys talking about, back in my day, I used to play a little ball in Germany myself. But yeah, so there's that. I forgot what I was going to say. Off to a really good start with the solo podcast. Actually, I really like this. I like doing a solo podcast. It almost reminds me of my Patreon Q&As. So I just grab a coffee and I just chill and answer questions on the Q&A. I did do a thing on Instagram you guys might have saw. I said if you have any questions, you can ask me. But anyway, back to the ELF. Yeah, we know this is the hot league. You saw, maybe you've seen it. They've already sold 20,000 tickets for the championship game in Duisburg. However you pronounce that. It's the area. It's up in the Cologne, Dusseldorf area, which is smart because that's the most populated area. I think not just of Germany. I think of Europe as a whole. That's the most densely populated area. Because last year, they did it in some random Austrian town that nobody could get to, and they had I mean, they said they had like 15,000 people, but it looked more like 10,000 people. Sad state of affairs, basically, for both championship games last year, because the GFL championship game, the German Bowl, was the worst one by far in terms of attendance that I have ever been a part of. Just going on down because, well, we'll get into the GFL stuff, into the what really happened there, in my opinion. But yeah, exciting that the ELF has sold 20,000 tickets. I think what it's interesting because I'm seeing all these guys that I played with or against in the German Football League over these past 5, 6, 7 years. All these top level players now moving to the ELF, and I talked to Roby last year a little bit, who I used to play with here at the Unicorns in Schwäbisch Hall, and I was like, "How is it playing in the ELF? What's it like?" And he said, "Man, it's like the 2017-18 GFL with good marketing." Which I think is a great way of putting it, because I would say, in my opinion, that the sort of the peak level of football that we had was like 2017, 2018, 2019. And that's sort of all seemed to transition to the ELF now. But one different thing is the packaging and how the product is promoted. The product of the European League of Football looks phenomenal. You see their Instagram, you see their social medias and the way that they present themselves and the way that they have the teams present themselves. It's exactly what football in Europe needed, because I think the talent level has been slowly, steadily growing and getting better and better. But the way that fans and people in Germany and Europe perceive the sport is like, oh, it's just a tiny little niche sport. Like, who cares about that weird sport, American football? But now the ELF has come along and making it look mainstream, which is very important. So, yeah, I've heard that, I can't remember where I heard this, but that basically this is one of the priorities of the league, or the top priority of the league, is media and branding, which is very smart. Something that I'm super into. I love the crossover of football, marketing, branding, and filmmaking. That's kind of my triangle of interests. So I'm really into this. But yeah, so you guys probably know a lot of people that I know and am associated with and have been friends with, coached by, played with. They've all moved to different teams, some to the Stuttgart Surge, some to the Frankfurt Galaxy, some to the Munich Ravens, some to the Helvetic Guards in Switzerland. That's the Zurich team. So kind of now I've got friends and teammates scattered all about different teams in the ELF. So I'm really excited to see the league and the season start this year. I think it starts in early June. So that's super exciting. Man, that's bad coffee. Yeah, ELF. What else? What else is new? Oh yeah, so the GFL. What kind of happened, in my opinion, with the GFL? I feel like the GFL was held hostage by one or two people at the top who used football. This is so sinister to me, because it feels like they used football and this great sport to benefit themselves, and that I really hate. That, I think, and that made a lot of people angry, and that you could see it with the results of sort of what happened with the GFL because of the leadership that handled things that way. But it looks like the GFL has woken up now, because they are switching over to some new leaders, I believe, and trying to figure things out, because they know, hey, wow, we had such a head start on football in Germany and in Europe, and now this new league came in 2 years and took everything by storm, which is probably frustrating for the GFL, because they had such a head start. And, yeah, but either way, football seems to be thriving in Europe. Now, the problem, though, is the ELF is just a franchise professional league. It's for adult players, senior teams. The issue is with youth teams and who's going to develop the youth. And that's actually what I think the GFL is maintaining focus on, because a lot of the GFL teams have their youth programs all the way, down from when kids are flaggy age, 11 years old, 12 years old, 13, all the way up through U19. And this is incredibly important because without a healthy GFL or youth system, the ELF, it will run out of talent in a handful of years. So I think, or actually, yeah, I don't just think, I know that these two leagues need to work together. And there has finally been an announcement that they will have a meeting of possible cooperation because people have, like the GFL didn't want to have any partnership. They basically, their whole strategy last year was pretend the ELF doesn't exist, which was very, very dumb, I believe. Other leagues in other countries decided to make partnerships with the ELF so people could play in both leagues. Like a guy could play in his national league. A guy could play in his national league at the start of the year and then come over to the ELF if schedule so allowed it, which is a good thing. But I do think now there is going to be at least meetings, and hopefully for the sake of football in Europe, these leagues can agree to some sort of partnership and they can stop pretending that each other don't exist and work together in a realistic way that benefits football and the people that want to play football. Because that's my main mission right now, is help grow and bring eyeballs to football, help encourage more people to watch football, to become fans of football, or to play football. Watch it on TV, go to a game, go to a practice, join a team, join a club, whatever. That's my thing, because football has been such an amazing part of my life, and I feel like it's given me so much, and I can't imagine where I would be if I didn't have football in my life from age 12 or 10 or whatever, whenever I started playing, to 30. It's unimaginable to me. So I would like other people to be able to experience that and enjoy this great game. I know a lot of people in Europe are like, oh, they're stupid. Oh, rugby with armor on. Oh, they're so soft. They can't even tackle each other without pads. I know it's funny to hate on football in Europe. It's like, oh, why is it called football? It's hand egg. I've heard it all. And so I know that a lot of people in Europe are not that keen on giving football a chance. But even if you have just a twinge of interest, I would encourage it. So that's my little ramble on the status of football in Europe right now. Let's see what some of you had to say on if any questions that you had for me to ramble about here. Let's see. Riley Hennessy submitted a question that is inappropriate for my even PG-13 rated podcast. How do I look at the question that I asked? How do I get that? Oh, here we go. Okay. Instagram. All right, let's see. Okay, nice. We got some good ones. All right. Hey, now, are you 100% a YouTuber now, or do you have other jobs? Good question. I would not say, that I'm 100% a YouTuber, because that's too terrifying. I think YouTube is part of my work, but I would say I am 100% a media, filmmaker, content creator now. Or at least I'm trying to be. That's what I am attempting to do now that I don't have the safety net of being an import player, where I have, my housing covered and I have a car paid for. So I am 100% a media professional, I would say. But I wouldn't say I'm 100% a YouTuber, because that's too scary. YouTube fluctuates so much. Things go up and down so much. It's very unsustainable and very unpredictable. So I wouldn't say that just yet. How's your workout plan looking? My workout plan is looking real retired-like. I still work out 5 times a week or so with weights, but it looks very different than how it looked when I was preparing my body to tackle other people So I still do actually quite similar things and exercises that I did while working out, like the big lifts, the big three. I do squat, bench press, power cleans, trap bar deadlift. I've been doing a lot of trap bar deadlift actually lately, but I don't go so heavy, like as heavy as I used to go. I just go to a moderate amount where I maybe do like 6 to 8 reps. And I get a kind of combination of resistance training and a little bit of cardio. That's kind of what I do. But I'd say the biggest difference now is that I'm no longer doing essentially max effort lifts where I'm doing 1 to 2 to 3 reps for strength. So I'm doing more 6 to 8 reps of all of the same workouts, for example, a workout of mine would be trap bar deadlift to hamstring curls to some sort of high pulls to single leg squats to some lunges. This would be a lower body lift. And of course, in between everything, some sort of banded abs. I love doing that. Or banded, what's the reverse of good morning? Things to get your lower back. So that's sort of how a workout of mine would look. Not anything crazy. Just keep myself in shape. Because I do find, man, it's so crazy how much better I feel if I work out. And it's so weird. Like your mind, you wake up in the morning and you feel tired and lazy. And you think, oh, man, I just don't feel really motivated to do anything. Oh, I don't want to work out. Like that's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to waste my energy. I'm already tired. I don't want to waste my energy. And then you force yourself to go work out and you feel so much better after working out every single time. So much better. And it's like right after I work out, I think, man, I feel so good right now after working out. I will never question my motivate or question the desire to work out when I'm feeling shitty. I'll never be like, oh, is it going to be worth it? Should I really go work out today? I'm never going to do it. And then I wake up the next day and I have a goldfish brain where I'm like, oh man, is it really going to be worth it today? And then you do it again, you feel great. I don't know what it is, but somehow you just forget the next morning how good you feel after working out. You have to re-motivate yourself. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I think it's so funny. It's like, can my brain just remember how beneficial this is? And yeah, I don't know. I wonder, do other people have that? But I just love working out. I just love how it sets your day off right. We seem to have gotten some spam from some haters. Coach_Pastorino. I've never quite understood the numbering / gaps for a defense. Do you think you could go over that? I need to drink a coffee. Hold on. This is from Cody, my dear friend Cody Pastorino. Coach Cody Pastorino, coaching at the Stuttgart Surge now. People would be surprised a little bit about my knowledge, I would say, of football. I play middle linebacker, which you got to know a lot of things. But there's certain terminologies and things that, I always say I'm more of like an instinct player, not so much a scheme guy or a strategy guy or knowing all of the specific techniques and everything. I'm just more like, yeah, let's just, play with your instincts. I remember one time Nico Bang, he's a linebacker, and he was a couple years younger than me, and this was when we were both at the Unicorns. He was early on in his football career playing my position, and he asked me for some tips on something as a linebacker, and I just said, yeah, I don't know, man, just like use your instincts because that's kind of how I play. So I would say I'm a very instinctual player. But anyway, Cody's challenging my knowledge on these gaps, which, I learned them. I finally learned them. It took me a long time. I learned them at the age 29. So, you've got your A gap between the center and the guard, Cody. Okay, you got your B gap between the guard and the tackle, and then you got your C gap, okay, between the tackle and tight end or outside the tackle if there is no tight end. Okay, man. All right. Okay. And if I couldn't answer those, it would actually be your fault, Cody, because you are one of my coaches. So, thanks, Coach Pastorino. Favorite food? a butter pretzel from a specific gas station in Schwäbisch Hall. I get one of those every day. Sometimes I get 2 a day. They're so good. I love them. When they've got a lot of butter and a lot of salt, butter pretzel. As far as real food, what is my favorite? I don't know. What always gets me excited, the most excited, is pizza. It's my Italian roots, of course. My Italian citizenship. Pizza, but the pizza must be made by a person who was born in Italy, or no, they have to have been born in Italy. They can live in Germany, but they have to have been born in Italy. That's my favorite food, and it's incredible. Here's a question. How dare you? That's from our friend MG Football, Mike Gentili. How dare I? Mike Gentili. Hey, Mike, I've been waiting for you to come see me. I've been in Schwäbisch Hall now for like 2 weeks, and you haven't seen me, so do you want to hang out? Topic, Lady Corns. Oh, actually, this is a great topic. The Lady Corns, the women's unicorn team that Mike has started this year. This is a very exciting thing, and this is something that's really cool because in the States there are very few opportunities, I think, for women to play football, and in Europe it's actually kind of common. And so the Unicorns now have a women's team that Mike has started. I would never say this to Mike's face, but he is a very smart and capable and hardworking and likable guy, and I think that he's going to do a great job with that team. And any female who's interested in playing football in the area should check them out. Like I said, I would never say that to Mike's face, but the Lady Corns, I think that's pretty exciting. I'm going to be making some video content for them as well. And Mike's actually supposed to be on the podcast. He said he needed another week because he had to get his mustache ready. So hopefully we have Mike on the podcast soon. This is why I'm doing a solo podcast, because Mike stood me up again. But hopefully his mustache is ready by the end of the week. Nice. Okay. Can you talk about Unicorn Town? Where to start? Unicorn Town. You guys know Unicorn Town? Man, that's a crazy journey. Because, some of you guys know this. I said this so many times, but I left film school in 2015 to come to Schwäbisch Hall to play football, but also to make a documentary about football in Germany. And I thought it would take 1 year. Of course, it took 7 years. But I would say the process of making that movie, I've never learned more basically about myself and about success and perseverance than putting together that documentary. Man, there were some ups and some downs with that thing, and it's damn near a miracle that it is out now, and it's on Amazon Prime. That's like really cool. It's streaming on Amazon Prime's streaming catalog, so you can watch it for free in the USA if you've got Amazon Prime subscription. It is still not on Prime yet outside of the US, but you can watch it on Plex, which is this platform where you can watch content for free, but they just put like some ads in it. So it's on Plex outside. So everybody in the world can watch Unicorn Town now. I'm super proud of it, and it's getting a lot of good feedback, which is the coolest thing as a filmmaker to see that. Something that was so personal, project that was so personal, and I worked so hard on. Like that thing, man, I put my heart and soul into that thing, and like I edited that whole movie on my laptop. I edited it in my childhood bedroom, and to do the voiceovers, I had a mic worse than this, and I made my own pop filter with a sock and a hanger, and I did the voiceovers with a blanket over my head. My mom has a picture of this. And to think now that movie played in movie theaters and is on Amazon Prime streaming, and it's on airplanes now. Oh, yeah, it's on airplanes, which is one of the coolest things because that's getting it a lot of viewership. A lot of people are watching on airplanes. I've gotten so many messages from people watching it on airplanes, and that's a really cool thing because, a lot of times there's stuff, being on an airplane forces you to watch something, especially on some of those longer flights. And so a lot of people are like, what the hell is this unicorn movie? All right, whatever, I'll watch it with no expectations. And they really enjoy it. And the thing that I'm most proud of, not I'm most proud of, but one of the things I'm proud of about it is that it's a positive, uplifting story, because there's so much, I don't know, negative stuff going on, or at least negative stuff that's highlighted in media and movies. Like, movie might be so well done, or like, this is my problem with documentaries a lot of times. So well done, beautiful cinematography, great score, but it's just depressing. It's just sad, and just, you finish watching it like, wow, that was good, but now I feel so sad. And that's my problem with documentaries a lot of times. So I'm proud of the fact that we can make something happy, that people finish watching and be like, wow, that was fun, and I feel happy now. So that's what I really like. And yeah, the process to get it, we work with a distribution company, so it's weird. I don't have control of why it's not released on Amazon in Europe yet. I don't have control. I didn't make the deal to get it on airplanes. The distribution company does all that. So it's a little bit frustrating to not have any control, but you just got to kind of trust that they're doing their job, and that's, it'll get onto some of these other platforms as well. But for now, Amazon Prime, check it out, or Plex, or airplanes. And I just do also have to say that the people that helped me work on that, my producers, were like, really, if I didn't get some of those guys involved, that would have been a YouTube video. That would have been a 1-hour YouTube video. I'd be like, oh, that was like, oh yeah, man, that was cool. Yeah, you made a documentary. But really, like, the storytelling and the crafting of the film wouldn't be what it is. And they really helped me, challenged me to get the best out of myself and get the best out of the movie and what we have. And so I just gotta, really give thanks to my producers, man. They were very helpful. Very helpful. Okay, that's Unicorn Town. Can you imagine living in Germany forever or for a long time with Laura? That's a good question. Yes, I could. Yes, I certainly could. I mean, right now I'm living in Germany. This is my first year living here, not being a football player, and we're seeing how it goes, and seeing if I am capable of living here. And so far so good. Okay. What does your professional future look like? I talked a little bit about it, but it's media, filmmaking. So there's like different levels of projects, I would say. It's like, I've got a couple things in development, like larger projects that I would put in the Unicorn Town category, like feature length, documentary stuff, or series stuff. And then, of course, YouTube is another category. And then also I'll be making content for football teams. You might have seen on Instagram, I made some stuff for the Surge and for the Unicorns so far this year. So I'm going to be doing that as well. That's something I really enjoy doing, is making football content, because as a former football player, I feel like I've got a strong perspective, and I love to be able to combine my knowledge of football and my filmmaking interests into that. So that's really fun to be making football content as well. So that's sort of how my professional future looks like right now. I would categorize myself as a media guy, film media marketing guy sort of fella. Have you gotten used to driving manual transmission? That's so funny. I was just driving manual car, and I had a thing on a camera on the dashboard talking about how proud of myself I am that I can now drive manual car through a city. Even I was parked on a hill, a slanted hill, parked on that. You guys know how hard that is, driving a manual car, and I was very proud of myself. So yeah, I have gotten used to it. Which language do you talk with Laura? We mostly talk in English, but we will do German segments as well. We did that a lot while we were in the States. When we go on our walks, we'd speak just German. And that is very, very good and helpful for my German skills, because it's like, then after speaking German for like 5 or 7 minutes, your brain switches to German. It's so strange. It's a cool thing. We mostly speak in English because I can't have in-depth, super important conversations yet in German. So we'd use English for that. Why doesn't your girlfriend speak German with you? It'd be so easy for you to practice. Well, I just answered that. We do speak German. I just don't put all of it on YouTube. So, yeah. It is great to practice. We really, that's a great way of learning German. Which unicorns are you still in contact with? All of them. Basically everybody. Rudy, I just went and saw Rudy. We had a coffee together. Mike, of course, who's avoiding me. Ian, Pius, Javier, all these guys that I've played with in the past. Some of the coaches now as well, of course, who are my former teammates. Are you still hanging out with Tyler Rutenbeck? Rujude 5. That's my guy. Absolutely. Rudy and I really value our friendship. Rudy and I were roommates, basically. Well, we were roommates in 2016. Not necessarily roommates, housemates, I guess. 2016, living in that horrible Ami house from Unicorn Town. We lived right next to each other. And then we had apartments close to each other in 2017 and 18. And then 2019, him and I alone, we lived together in this apartment. And it was awesome. It was really fun to have him as a roommate. And, yep, he's one of my best friends. Do you have a cat? Not here, I wish. If you guys, I don't know if you can see it. There's like these cat things. What are they called? Cat beds, I guess, at this new apartment. And they're great. But I've got 2 cats at home. Leo, my favorite one, and Mia, my second favorite one. Where can one find you in Schwäbisch Hall? I'm all over Schwäbisch Hall. So like I said, I have a new apartment, but I'm trying to be careful right now about showing too much of like the location of my apartment, because at my old apartment, I had some very, very bad, uncomfortable situations where people knew where I lived, came to my house. I don't know if I would call it harassment, but in that category. So I'm being a little bit more careful about showing exactly where my apartment is. I do have a really nice view that I'm looking at right now, and I might show people at some point, but for now I'm not. Just because I don't really feel like it. So yeah. Okay. Whoops. What else do we got? Are you still living in Schwäbisch Hall? Yes, of course. Still living in Schwäbisch Hall. Yeah, guys. So that's kind of what we got going on in the Nauf life. Really focusing on working on filmmaking stuff, on marketing stuff, and creating content, being a full-time content creator, which is cool but kind of scary because it's so inconsistent. But, it's fun to be able to do what I really enjoy doing. I like that a lot. So what else is new? Yeah, guys, I think that's probably going to be it for this one-man show podcast. How long was that? Let's see. Yeah, 34 minutes. That's good. That's good enough, right? All right, guys, we'll call it there. That's my solo podcast. Tune in to the next one because we will have guests again. But, I might do this every once in a while if people like it. I kind of like it. It's fun to ramble. It is fun to ramble, to give myself a space to ramble. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.